Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another vlog post of Unveiling the Spirit, where myself, Sage the Coach, also known as Stephanie K, likes to unveil spiritual truths behind contemporary topics, everyday issues, and personal struggles. What I want to discuss today, or unveil the spirit about, is the recent overturning of Roe versus Wade. A lot of course, this has sent ripples throughout our society, people with opinions on all different sides, walks of life, and things like that. And so I wanted to unveil the spirit about that, because a lot of the times people make their claims based on the fact that it has something to do with God, basically that God is on their side. So you talk about the Republican Party, which has always kind of advocated to outlaw abortion, saying that Roe versus Wade was a victory for God that day. And then you have women on the other side of the spectrum, or people who believe that women should have the right to decide what they want to do with their own bodies, and not another group of people, mostly men, making those decisions, saying this is a great injustice against women. We have set back all these thousands of years or hundreds of years when it comes to reproductive rights, and that a woman has the right to do what she wants to do with her body. And I've seen in some cases people making posts that abortion is not a sin and things like that. So I want to address or unveil the spirit is, whose side is God really on? Before I go into kind of explaining whose side God is really on, let me say that first and foremost, God is not on anybody's side. And this is something that you see a lot from human beings. Everybody wants to use God as a backup and to justify what they do and what they don't do. And the truth of the matter is, God is not on anybody's side. God has his own side. And it's up to us to find out if we're aligned with God. Not to say that God is on our side, because God, when it comes to a lot of the decisions that we make as human beings outside of his will and outside of his ruling, he doesn't like any of it. So he's not on the side of Republicans who say they have scored a great victory for God today. And he's not on the side of women who feel that they have a right to make decisions that they want to make with their bodies, even if it includes taking a life. God is not on either of those sides. And we really struggle as human beings with this idea of aligning ourselves with God, because he is totally outside the realm of what we usually expect or think. And this is all throughout the Bible. Like, even when Jesus came, they expected him to do a certain thing. Even when he didn't do it, they were very, very confused. You can see all through the Old Testament, every time God came on the scene, or the Holy Spirit came on the scene, or God using his spirit, empowering people with his spirit to do specific things, there were always things that nobody expected and were amazed about. And so for us to have this idea, which if you watch my show on Saturdays called Outside the Box, I like to show people that God does not fit in the boxes that we usually put him in. He's not on anybody's side. He's on his own side, and we need to stop expecting him to align perfectly what we think, and understand that anytime we involve God in what we're doing, he's always going to come from a completely different perspective than anything that we were thinking, especially in the realm of what we consider right or wrong. He thinks on a different level. Now, I know some of you might be saying, well, how is stopping women from aborting babies not a victory for God when it comes to the Roe versus Wade decision being overturned? And I will tell you one reason why is because you cannot police morality. You cannot force people to obey laws that you think is wrong because of your Christian beliefs, especially to people who don't believe in God. There is nowhere in the Bible that God asks Christians to enforce his ways and his will upon other people in terms of trying to make them behave a certain way. God does not do that. He gives us choice. He's all about free will. You can do what you want, but you do have to answer for it, and you might get punished for it depending on what it is. So he doesn't. So for Christians to now take on this bloodstained banner of now stopping other people from sinning, is not godly. It's really not. The Bible said, don't stand in the way of sinners. Let them have what it is they want. And even if you go to the New Testament, it even talks about that letting people have the sin that they want is the best chance that you have of them turning back. So it's not a Christian's right to police other people according to their Christian beliefs. You have to do what is best for the society that is operating predominantly outside of God's will. Because outside of that, there's no order, which is why God said, obey the government. Because we need some type of order if we're going to be outside of his will. And so not only that, I will add this very, very quickly, and I really try to stay away from politics because, to be quite honest with you, it's really annoying to me, and I think 99.9% of it is a bunch of garbage. But these same people who claim to be have achieved a victory for God are the same people who don't want to support gun laws, are the same people who don't want universal medical care. So how can you care about a child that's not here more than you care about people and the lives that are already here? That contradiction in and of itself shows you that as much as they might say that they're representing God, they don't, because God does not contradict himself. And this is human behavior, human thought, human will, putting God on the forefront to try to justify their reasoning about some things. So God doesn't have to do stuff. He doesn't. So if he's going to be against abortion, he's going to be against gun laws, he's going to want everybody to have medical care, things like that. The Bible talks about taking care of the poor. So the same party who's advocating this don't want those things. So God is not on their side. And then we go to the other side of people who advocate for abortion. Now, I will say this before I go into this, that I do understand in some situations why a woman would want an abortion, and I'm a Christian. If you were raped, if there's incest, if you find out your baby has a terminal illness and they're not going to survive, or you're going to die giving birth to them, things like that, I can understand that. And I do agree that it's not other people's choice to make that choice for you. But it is never okay to kill, to take a life. It's not. God would never say in any situation, go ahead, you have my blessing, go and do that. Even with those very extenuating circumstances and very painful circumstances, my understanding of God is that he will give you hope. He will let you know that he will help you. He will give you support. He will even heal you of whatever trauma brought that pregnancy about. So God is a God of hope. He's never going to be like, yes, it's okay, go ahead and take that life. He's going to encourage you to stick it out. He's going to heal you. He's going to help you. He's going to guide you. And so again, God is not for abortions either. The thing is that this entire argument exists because we are living outside of God's will. If we were living inside of God's will, a lot of these things would not even be happening. But because we're living outside of God's will, we create these very complex situations, these complex problems that we don't immediately have solutions for. And so it's like you have to choose between the lesser of two evils. The side that he is on is free will. Everybody has a right to live their life the way they want to live their life, as long as their rights are not impeding upon somebody else's rights. So whatever you want to do, God is all for free will, but you do have to answer to him for what you do at the end of the day. Because just as much as a woman who gets an abortion has to answer to God for that at the end of the day, that politician who is pushing laws without any real concern for the lives of the women and for the lives of others that are also within their power to affect has to answer for God for that too. And so I just wanted to do this vlog post really quickly and let you guys know that God is not on anybody's side when it comes to this abortion issue. This is a product of living in a sinful society. And if God was to come here and people are then standing in their corner saying God is going to be on my side, just like the Pharisee, they're going to be very, very shocked to find out he is not in support of you as much as you thought he would be. So let's get on God's side. Let's get on God's side. Let's align our thoughts and our feelings and our desires with what God would want us to have. And even in the case of those people who are not making the best choices, you will learn to have the compassion and love for them to see God in their own situation too. So that's it for Unveiling the Spirit. If you guys have any questions, comments, of course, feel free to leave a comment below this post. Or if you want any topic that you want me to share the spiritual perspective on, or any issue you're having in your life, please also leave a comment, message me, email me as well. So thank you so much. Have a good day. Be blessed, and bye.